In this video I'm going to show you how much your newly ordered Corvette C8 will depreciate per year and per 1000 miles driven. And I won't be guessing, I will namely be using the historical depreciation curves of the C6 and the C7. And we start right now. Now it was a crucial moment for Chevrolet when the new C8 got introduced a few weeks ago. The C8 of course underwent some radical design changes and this led to skepticism before the launch. And that is even quite an understatement. Some people were bashing to the looks, while others were complaining about the movement of the engine. Now after the reveal, I feel that the sentiment towards the C8 has changed and that generally speaking, people actually like the new Corvette. And I completely understand them. I mean, just look at it. The exterior looks like an American Ferrari to me and also the interior is bang on. The materials are nice, there's contrasting stitching and there are a zillion ways to personalize your car. Besides that, what actually really surprised me was the storage space. That is simply brilliant for a mid-engine supercar. Now I still think that an actual Ferrari, McLaren or Lamborghini looks better, but at the price point of the C8, the car simply offers amazing value and looks for money. Now having said that, if you're planning to purchase a C8, you definitely need to keep on watching and smash that like button. I'm namely going to show you now how much the car will depreciate per year and per 1000 miles driven. And to get a good indication of the depreciation, we are going to dive into the history of the Corvettes and base our analysis on the depreciation curves of the C6 and the C7. We however start by having a look to the average price points and these histograms over here are going to help us with that. These histograms namely show the price distribution for the C7 at the top and the C6 at the bottom. And that also means that they both have price on the horizontal axis and the number of cars available for that given price point on the vertical axis. Let's start by having a look to the C7 in blue. We can see that there are 3,681 cars for sale in today's market and that prices start at $35,000. They stretch then up all the way till $85,000. The average price point of course lays somewhere in between and this is $54,000 and indicated by the dashed line going through the graph. If you're by the way more interested in the C7 than in the C8, then I strongly recommend that you check out the full depreciation analysis on the C7, for which the link is appearing above here. In that video I'm namely going into way more detail for the C7 as I show what the fair purchasing price is and what the depreciation per year is for the different C7 types. But enough about the C7, let's have a look to the market for the C6, which is displayed in orange. There are 1037 C6s for sale and the average price point is of course a lot lower than the average price point for the C7. We can see that this is at $25,000. Prices however already start at $10,000 and stretch then up to $60,000. It is however interesting to see that there is a clear division in the market. There is namely a select group of C6s which is priced above $40,000. And it turns out that most of these cars are actually the 427 Collector's Edition. Now let's move on to the depreciation per year and we will first have a look to the full market and then we will split that between the C7, the C6 and the C8. And the depreciation curve for the full market is displayed in the graph over here where we have model year on the horizontal axis and price on the vertical axis. Each of the blue bubbles represents a car for sale in today's market and the black axis which you see in the graph show the average price point for that given model year. You can see for example that a C6 with model year 2005 has an average price point of $20,000. If we have a look then to all of the model years, we can see that the average depreciation per year is around $2,900. Now it's important to keep in mind that this is an average number. You can see by looking to the slope of the depreciation curve that most of the depreciation is actually taken in the first years. And this of course also goes the other way around, meaning that the depreciation per year is lower for the older cars. Now to get a better understanding of the market, we will split this depreciation curve now between the C8, the C7 and the C6. And that is shown in the graph popping up on your screen. You can see that we have now in green the C8, in blue the C7 and in orange the C6. And let's start off by having a look to the C8 and you can see that I inserted this car from model year 2020. Now since the exact prices are not yet known, I estimated some of the prices based on a starting price of around $60,000. And you can see that this leaves us with an average price point of $67,000 for the C8. If we have a look then to the C7 in blue, we can see that the average depreciation per year is $3,200. Also here, we can see of course that the newer model years are depreciating more than the older model years. In fact, you can observe a small bottoming pattern for the older model years. If we have a look then to the C6 in orange, we can see that the average depreciation is of course a lot lower and sits at €2,200 per year. This number is however a bit of an overestimation due to the presence of the 427 C6s. You can see namely that for the ordinary C6s there's quite a large price gap between the C6 and the C7. That however doesn't go for the group of cars over here, which mostly consist out of 427 Collector's Edition cars. I therefore also did an analysis where I removed those cars and then you could see that the depreciation curve was almost flat for the C6. But this you can also already see for the cars with model year 2009 and older. You can see here that the depreciation curve is almost completely flat and that the decrease in average price per year is very small. Let's move on now to the depreciation per year, and we are going to take the same approach. We will first look at the full market and then split the curve between the C8, the C7 and the C6. The curve for the full market is displayed over here, where we have now miles on the horizontal axis and price on the vertical axis. And I know that this looks a little bit strange because I used a straight depreciation curve over here. I know that this is not the best fitting line, but I chose this to emphasize that I'm talking about average numbers over here. This line namely shows that on average, the depreciation per 1000 miles driven is $470. And if we investigate this graph a little bit further, we can already see the two distinct categories present, the C7 and the C6. And those two are again identified in the graph over here, where we have the C7 in blue and the C6 in orange. And without looking to the numbers, we can see that there's a huge difference in terms of depreciation per 1000 miles driven. We can see namely that the depreciation line for the C6 is a lot more flat, showing that the depreciation per 1000 miles driven is only $150. On the contrary, the slope for the depreciation of the C7 is quite steep, showing that the average depreciation per 1000 miles driven is $480. Alright, so let's wrap this analysis up and figure out how much you can expect to lose if you're planning to purchase a C8. Now for the short term, so considering an ownership period of 6 years, the depreciation curve of the C7 gives the most reliable estimate. And this depreciation curve shows that you will lose on average $3,200 per year. And of course, the shorter your period of ownership, the higher the depreciation, as the cars will depreciate more when they are new. And in terms of depreciation per 1000 miles driven, it means that you will lose on average $480. And also here, the shorter you will own the car, the higher this number. Now if you're one of those people who buys a car and then keeps it for half of a lifetime, then you can look to the full depreciation curves of the C6 and the C7. And in that case, the average depreciation per year will be $2,200 and the average depreciation per 1000 miles driven will be $150. Now if you watched the video all the way till here and you thought, whoa, what a great analysis, but I wish you would have done it for a different car, then please comment for which car you would like to see an analysis, as I frequently base my videos on the cars which are suggested to me in the comments. In fact, the idea for this video came from someone in the comment section. Make then also sure that you subscribe and click the notification bell so you get notified when your requested video goes live. Now in the meantime, you can check out the full depreciation analysis for a Nissan GT-R over here and for an Alfa Romeo 4C over here. As always, remember to give the video a thumbs up, thank you for watching and see you next time.